Hello everyone, so I'll be discussing what Babel is, why we need Babel to work with React. So let's get started. So our first question would be, what is Babel and when does it come into play? Babel is a compiler which converts the latest version source code into one that is compatible with most of the browsers, and also helps us integrate something like JSX, which is very specific to React. And yeah, so let's see how it works. So here you can see I wrote an HTML and it was converted into something like this JavaScript object by Babel. So now let's have a look at a bare minimum React setup. Here we import React via CDN link and also React DOM, and we create our HTML element using this react.create element, and let's see how it works. Yeah, and you can see here we are entering this hello React using this react.create element. But let's say now we want to be able to use our JSX syntax. Would it work? And it doesn't work because it throws an error that this is an expected token and our browser isn't able to understand what this h1 element or what these tags mean. So to be able to use that, we'll have to use our script type as text/babel, and also we'll have to import our Babel script from CDN. And now, yeah, it works good. So the main purpose of Babel would be to transpile these h1 tags into something like this so that it can work properly. Now let us understand a bit about side effects. So by default, side effects won't exist as a key in our package.json file. But the default value is true, which means that Webpack would consider that all the modules in our app have side effects, so it won't be performing any aggressive tree shaking, or so the bundle size would be high. And if we set it to false, it would means that any unused code would be removed. This side effects can also include files, so we can define something like star.css, and let's say source/utils/star.js. So this would mean that Webpack shouldn't be removing any dead code in these files. So it would be kind of increasing the bundle size when we run build, but these code would be present, which can be used within our app. So now let's learn more about how to include external plugins in Babel. So we'll be adding two plugins. One would be the transform arrow function. So this converts arrow function into standard functions, and this plugin transform classes would convert into ES5 classes, which use prototypical inheritance. And let's start. So to add them, first we need to run npm install -s save dev and the plugin names, and once done, we'll get them in the package.json file. And after that, we need to eject. So our project is currently set up with create react app, so we need to eject so that we can add custom Babel configurations. So npm run eject. Since I have already run this, so it's not needed now, but make sure you have a backup since it is not reversible, and just in case you want to revert it back, you should be able to. Then we are going to create a new file called babelrc, and a key name plugins should hold these plugins that we want. And once we run npm run start again, so the Webpack compiler would consider this new babelrc configuration and start using the plugins that we want. Now let's see how Babel supports React in having different source code based on the environment we are running the code in. So in development mode, we'll need more information while debugging and developing, whereas in production mode we just need to have as small bundle size as possible. So for that, create React app we are using in the behind the scene automatically does that for us. So let's see. So we are running this app in development mode, so you can see that we get these logs and a lot of other source code would be present, which in production we don't need. But when we run npm run build and we run that build now, let's have a look at the default plugin for supporting React. So this is the plugin and it includes these additional plugins which we don't have to install additionally. Since most of the projects use create React app by default, so these are already included, so we don't need to perform anything additional. But in case you are trying to set up on your own, so you'll need Babel preset React and it should be able to support JSX and other basic React functionality. Just to summarize, what is Babel? Babel is a transpiler that helps us to write code in the latest ECMAScript versions and convert them to the older version to support older browsers, as well as we can use it for supporting React, JSX and other features which might not be readily available in browsers. How to use Babel? It's already available with Create React app. For other projects, we'll need to create custom configuration using Babel RC and also install the plugins via npm install. And we can also use multiple plugins and custom plugins as well. So we learned eject CRA project. So we learned that it is not backward compatible. So it allows us to use custom Babel and Webpack configurations, but it adds a lot on the shoulder of developer to maintain everything. Then we learned about side effects. It is more related to Webpack. So we can add side effect calls, which would mean that Webpack can consider every module to be tree shakeable and any unused code can be removed. Or we can use the default configuration, which is side effects true, which would mean that each of the module has side effects, so Webpack won't aggressively remove the dead code. And third option would be to selectively add those files which don't have a side effect, so we don't want Webpack to be removing them. Let's say there's a CSS file which you want to include but isn't used directly, so this would tell Webpack to not remove any unused code. And remaining features would be adding custom plugins to Babel. You may have some requirement which require that. And Babel also supports Webpack in tree shaking and removing dead code. So it is an intermediate step which allows Webpack to do what it is supposed to do. Thank you.